Welcome to the Be a Paid Speaker Now podcast. I'm your host and speaking coach, Deborah Deras, known as the top Latina peak performance speaker. This podcast is here to support you with strategies and best practices of paid speakers so you can find out what works and what doesn't, so you can achieve success with ease and grace in your speaking career. Enjoy the show. Are you always on the road speaking and your house is all alone collecting dust? Wouldn't it be nice to make some passive income while you're out speaking on the road? Well, I do. Want to know my secret? Air BnB. I use Air BnB to make some extra cash to reinvest in marketing for my speaking business. It's so simple. You just set up a listing and voila, you come home to money in your bank account on top of what you already made speaking. If you want to know more, go to the Be a Paid Speaker Now podcast.com to get all the information. Welcome back to another great episode of the Be a Paid Speaker Now podcast. I'm Deborah Deras, your host, and I am here to give you all of the expert tips so that you can monetize your magnificence. But before we get started with this extra special show, because I have an extra special guest host, it's not even me, you're going to love her. I want to give you a gift because you may say, I need to get started now and I need to know the steps. So what I did was I created a webinar just for you. You can go to my website at deborahderas.com/speak now, and you can download the 5 strategies to be a paid speaker now. And if that is interesting to you and you want to go even deeper, I have what's called a clarity session. So you can go to my website at deborahderas.com and click to book a coaching session to get clarity on what is your niche and how you can be paid to do what you love. And if you are an event coordinator and you're looking to book a peak performance speaker, guess what? I'm your girl. I am able to speak at your conference as a keynote speaker, as a breakout, doing MCs just by going to deborahderas.com. So without any further ado, I'm going to introduce our amazing guest host for today. And her name is Anna. And you are going to love her because she is the CEO and owner of Meraki Fitness in Los Angeles, your wellness expert. And Meraki Fitness specializes in professional speaking, corporate wellness, senior fitness, personal training, nutrition, and weight management. And she has a philosophy: you can do anything with Meraki Fitness. And I consider her to be the great goddess. I consider her to be my dear friend. Please help me welcome Anna.
Thank you, Deborah. It's such a pleasure to be here. I just think the world of you and everything that you bring to it. So thank you very much for having me and Meraki Fitness.
Yes. Yes, I've just been seeing you bloom, and I'm just so excited to have you as the guest host.
Well, thank you. You definitely inspired me and all of our work together through your synergy, and you inspire me to be a better speaker. And I watch your guidance. I watch your choices, even your podcast that you're doing now. I admire you, and I think that you are a role model for all speakers, especially women speakers, which we need more of.
Exactly. And women speakers of color, especially.
Yes.
So Anna's going to be asking me the questions today. So what do you have for me, Anna? I am ready, born ready.
Well, good. So if you were to talk to your younger self, your little Deborah Deras, what would you tell yourself in your speaking? How would you prepare yourself?
It's funny that you said the little Deborah Deras because when I grew up, my name was Little Debbie. Because my best friend was 10 years old. She was the big Debbie and I was the little Debbie. And my original last name was Cujino, which is a Colombian last name that no one could pronounce. And I knew if I kept that name, I would never be paid to speak. So when I got married and I got the name Deras, I kept it, just like Tina Turner kept her name because that was my brand, right?
Yes.
Apple Computer isn't going to change their name to Pear for a jealous new wife, so I didn't change my name. So Little Debbie was my name. And as I became a speaker, they would introduce me as a young speaker. And I would be like, oh my God, why are they calling me young? So I was like, I got to change my name from Debbie, which was my young self, to Deborah. So Deborah Deras evolved in time. But what I would tell my younger self And what inspired me to really become a speaker was my father, my daddy, Luis Cujino. So when I was little, probably 8 or 10 years old, my dad would come home from tennis practice or whatever, and he would be preparing for his Toastmaster speeches. Because my dad immigrated from Colombia and had a very kind of like Ricky Ricardo accent. He'd be like, Debbie, come here, Debbie. I always know I was in trouble. He'd call me Debbie. Or muñeca, which means little doll. And he wanted to get rid of his accent. So he went to Toastmasters to improve his English speaking, actually, and presentation skills. But he was so charismatic and so like he could light up any room and always had the gift of gab. Anything that I got was from him. Yeah. And he just was so magnetic. And I would listen to his speeches and be like, you're so good. And so just hearing him, I didn't realize how that rubbed off on me. And I wish I could show it to you. I found a picture of him delivering his speech at Toastmasters, and had such an impact and effect on me.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, that's such a great story. I love that. I wish he was here right now.
And the speeches were about always our dog, Tasha. You'd give speeches about the dog.
Yeah. Interesting. Cool. Well, thanks for sharing that. What are some suggestions for our listeners who want to try speaking but aren't 100% sure that they can or want to or are able to?
Yeah, speaking like any craft or any art, it's a talent and a skill, right? You know, people are naturally born with the ability to convey information, to communicate, but being a professional paid speaker, it's more than just being informational. There's a certain level of being charismatic and being contagious. So when you walk into a room, you step on the microphone, people are listening to you. People are engaged. I recently had to speak for 300 people at a conference who didn't necessarily want to be there. They wanted to be out doing other things. And you have to be able to capture them. So for new speakers, what I would have them do, I really suggest, besides Toastmasters.org, is getting out and speaking at like you do, at your local Chamber of Commerce, speaking at associations that you're a part of, speaking at any place where your niche market is, because when you do, guess what? I always say this, your audience members can become your sales team. They could recommend you for paid speaking engagements. But in order to see if speaking is something you want to do, you have to get out there and do it. It's like singing. Yes. You can't just like sing in your shower and say, oh, I'm going to be the next, Madonna or Britney Spears or whatever. You need to really get on stage and see how people react to you, because it's not enough just to be talented in your craft. You need to be able to work a crowd and work an audience. And when I first started, I did not do it full time. I did it part time. I had a full time job. Those of you that have been listening do know, working for the state of California, a government job where there were 3 ways you left. You either went on disability, you died, or you retired after 45 years. And as a young 20-year-old, I was like, none of those sound good to me. And I started speaking as part of my job. My supervisor saw that skill in me and paid for me to do like train the trainer workshops. And I volunteered to do trainings. And so I had so much like rehearsal time. And in addition to that, I became a professor. And so a professor being an educated was also being a speaker, because these people had worked from 8 to 5. They were so tired when they got to my class. If I wasn't able to engage them, none of the information I was going to give them was going to stick. And I've always been about people transforming, not just to talk, but that people really get what I have to say. That's really my passion.
I always think of the best speakers that I know, that they're the ones that make you forget that you're in the room. They make you forget where you are. You get so involved in their story that you forget where you are, and you're all part of them. And
also you feel like they're talking just to you, right? Like it's a one-on-one conversation.
Very cool. Good to know. So you're an author, very good author, with another book to come out soon.
Yes.
And great. So how does becoming an author gain your credibility for anyone who hasn't become published? I know I do some articles, but I'd love to have a book. And so what does that look like for you? What did you see when you started writing books?
Anna's so humble. She's like, I do some articles. She was just featured. Can I say that? What you're featured in, or is it a secret?
Yeah, Thrive Global.
With Ariana Huffington, the Huffington Post.
Yes.
She's featured, and she is so great at her business and publicity and getting yourself out there. I just really admire your chutzpah, as we say in the Jewish tradition. So this book, Confessions of an Adrenaline Addict, me and my business partner, we wrote it in 2002. And I say we wrote it, but as you know, because you know me, and those of you listeners who know me, I get divine downloads, right? I believe that we're all messengers for the message, and even a book. It came through me, but not from me. And when I first wrote it, I was learning from my own book. My dad would say, if you need, more work-life balance, you better read this book, right? Because it was channeling through me, and I didn't necessarily integrate all of the principles in the book yet. I have now, which is why the next book is ready to be born, which is almost done. It's called Align for Success. So the first book was about how to deal with burnout and how to be successful without compromising your health and well-being. And Aligning for Success is, okay, once you're overcoming burnout, now you want to go to the next level and live a life that's abundant and where you're on purpose, right? And so the process of writing the book for me was like really, really easy because my business partner and I went to the beach in Playa del Rey. We sat down and we literally mind mapped the chapters. Do you know what I mean by mind mapping? Where we had a whiteboard and we had, okay, this is this chapter. These are the subtopics. This is this chapter. And we made a list of all the chapters and all the subtopics. So it became really, really easy when we sat down to write. And the process that we did was, we did it like a class, like an 8-week class. Okay, this is a class, and every week our goal is to write a chapter. And my business partner and I literally used the principles in the book to write the book. So one of the principles in the book is schedule it in your calendar, see it in your life. So if you want to do something like a speaking career, it takes so much time. Right? You know it. All the stuff that's involved with getting your website and getting your sizzle reel. And if you want to write a book. So we scheduled time to write. And we scheduled 90-minute segments. And every 90 minutes that we would write, we would check in with each other. Okay, we just finished this. And then we would set an alarm and do another 90 minutes. And it was what we practiced in the book is single tasking. We wouldn't check emails. We wouldn't check Facebook. We wouldn't check text. We wouldn't do anything but write during that time. And it allowed us to be so laser focused that the book would just pour in. And the longer part of publishing the book was the editing. So it only took 4 months to write the book, even though it was supposed to be 8 weeks. Whatever you think it'll be, double that, right?
Yeah.
So you already know. So the 2 months took 4 months, right? But we finished. And then we went through editing, which took a while. And we ended up self-publishing. We had offers from publishers, but we ended up turning them down because we wanted to own our rights. I learned that from my mentor, Oprah. Own everything. I didn't want to turn over the rights to any of my stuff. We wanted to own it. So now if I sell this book, I get, the profits. Besides buying it for $5, all the profits I get. Where if it went through a publisher or somebody else, they would get a percentage and I would get cents on the dollar. So it wouldn't make any sense. But how the book helped me was it made us an expert in that field. So it was almost like the equivalent of having a PhD. So our fees doubled and our credibility expanded because we were no longer in the speaker category. We were in the author category, which made us an expert. Not that you need to be an author to be a paid speaker, but it definitely gives you a lot more credibility and can increase your fees. One of the ways. Doing a TED Talk could do the same thing.
I think it's great, the first book, to just acknowledge the burnout. And then to the next one, I'm looking forward to reading, to once everything's cleared away, to be able to just continue to grow.
Yeah, because
it allows that room.
Once you have taken care of your self-care, you can be of service to give back to the world. Yes. But you need to take care of yourself first, or there's no energy to transform the world.
Correct. You got to put your own oxygen mask on first.
Amen, sister.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes.
So for our listeners, I would like to know, how do you select what it is that you're going to put on each social media platform? I struggle with this. There's so many different things. I recently just added Twitter. How do you select?
Okay. And before, just one more thing about the book. When I was speaking at a conference, somebody said to me, I went to Barnes & Noble, this was before Amazon days, looking for your book and I couldn't find it. And I was like, that's because I didn't write it yet. She's like, but I need it. and I really need your book. And so I put that email on my refrigerator, and every time I wanted to be a manana wana and procrastinate, I said, no, this book is not for you, it's for her. So you need to write that book for Stephanie, who went to Barnes & Noble looking for your book. And now that you said that about the Align for Success, it puts that fire under me. Deborah, this book isn't
People are waiting.
People are waiting, so do it. So when it comes to social media, I love
social media goddess.
Yes, friend. One of my titles is The Social Media Goddess, a free ebook at thesocialmediagoddess.com. So when it comes to social media, and I've been really happy when I was in Italy international speaking on a break.
She just flew in.
I just flew in. I'm tired, if you can tell. But having a break from social media, but I definitely have different focuses on each social media. I wouldn't say different personalities. I'm one Deborah Deras, but definitely when I'm on LinkedIn, because I know that's corporate and Fortune 500, I'm focusing on associations and organizations and companies. Some of the speaking clients that I've spoken to, Procter & Gamble, General Electric, JP Morgan, I know when they go to the LinkedIn, they're looking for me to help them as a peak performance speaker with engagement. They're looking for me to help them with retention. So when I put things on social media, it's going to be about engagement and retention, because one of the things I always say to all of my clients, and I've said this before, is our role as an expert is to solve the problem that our audience has. And so on LinkedIn, my audience has the problem with retention and engagement. That's what I'm going to write about so they can book me to speak for their conference. When I go to Instagram, it's really more, it's a younger crowd. It's 18 to 33 millennials. And a lot of them are interested in my programs. So when I talk on Instagram, I'm focusing on their problem is they want to align for success. They know that they have talent, but they don't know what to do. So I will direct them to my online Align for Success program, my coaching programs, and if they want to hire me, which NASA hired me to speak from Instagram, right? So it's not that the millennials aren't going to bring me in to speak. They are, but I'm also focused on their problem, which is their direction, right? So when I'm posting on Instagram, I'm focusing on solving that problem. Facebook is really where all of my audience members are. When I speak at a conference, I literally on the PowerPoint have follow me on Facebook. It's on every single slide. So I have so many of my amazing audience members on my Facebook. So I'm letting them know that they can book me again. I'm letting them know the other problems I solve for them around peak performance, but it's still always around the solution that I have as a speaker, because people that are paid to speak are hired because they're experts. Oh, you do corporate wellness. Oh, you help people.
That just happened to me today.
Right? So you help people that are overwhelmed or stressed. And through all of your talks, what happened to you today?
I was speaking at a school about Greece at a multicultural week, and they were surprised at my interaction with the kids and incorporating them and greeting them with different words in Greek. And they said, "How did you do that?" And most of them are more of my friends. And I said, "Well, I'm a professional speaker."
Ooh la la!
So they said, "What is it that you do?" And I said, "Well, it's corporate wellness, employee benefits, that sort of thing, and having a wellness from within."
I love it. So always seeding what it is you do. So when I post on YouTube, which by the way, everyone, I really love YouTube. One of the reasons, because I booked my biggest contract on there, that was like a year's salary for me for like a 2-month gig. So one of the reasons I love YouTube. But the other reason you should love YouTube, I say this in almost every episode, but one of the episodes you're going to listen, you're going to hear and take inspired action is guess who owns YouTube? Google, my friends. When people go online, they don't Facebook it, they don't Instagram it, they Google it. And when they Google corporate wellness speaker, and you have amazing videos on YouTube, guess who they're going to find? Anna. They're going to find you, right? So it's so important that as professional speakers, we have videos on YouTube, but we also label them. So that when we label them, the title has our name and corporate wellness speaker. The description says, and as a corporate wellness speaker, has links back to your website and all your other social media, that it's tagged, keynote speaker, woman keynote speaker, female speaker. Don't make me give you all my tags, but I will if if you come to me for coaching, I'll give you every single tag. Right? We'll just sit down and get the tags. But it's so important to have videos on YouTube because when people go to hire you, remember, this is Be a Paid Speaker podcast. Debbie De Niro. It's not Be a Free Speaker podcast. And the reason I started this podcast is I was a free speaker for many years. My dad made me repeat. He's like, repeat after me, Debbie. I will not speak for free. I will not. Not that I never speak for free. I'm happy to do pro bono things every once in a while when it's for a cause or I think it's going to position me to get hired, but I was just giving it away, and people don't value what you don't value. And so if you want to be a paid speaker, you definitely want to be on YouTube because that's where people are looking for you. And the videos on YouTube, Mel Robbins is a great example. She was the top female, just the top speaker of 2018. And if you go to her YouTube channel, she has videos on, it's all on mindset. She had the 5-second rule. And so her videos are answering the problem that she solves for people, how to get into action, how to overcome your mind blocks so you can achieve your goals. And her videos show that. And then when people hire her, they know what they're getting. And guess what? She got a TV show from her YouTube.
I learned from your mastermind, from your Be a Paid Speaker Now, everything content.
Good, you learned that?
We did it together. My friend, Debbie Deras, she got me content on YouTube, and now it's on my website, Meraki Fitness by Anna, and on my YouTube channel. And so I thank you so much. I had so much to say, but I just didn't have the outlet. So I think going through your course helped me exponentially with that.
Oh, that's so fantastic. And it's true. Content. Because that is the meat, right? People hire you not for fluff. They don't even like the name motivational speaker. A lot of organizations said we hired you because you weren't a life coach or a motivational speaker. You were a peak performance expert. You're a corporate wellness expert. And when you have the content, you're not saying it, you're showing it. And that's what we have to do as professional speakers. Love it. So proud of you.
Thank you. Well, just so happy that we work together so well. So for wrapping it up, I'd like to have some, as you teach us, to have some action items as the takeaway. What is our action items for today? What can we give people 2 things to take away so that they can start their paid speaking gigs today?
I love that. So first, inspired action. And I say inspired action because we are doing this professional speaking as a service to the world, right? So it's not like, oh, action I must take or I need to hustle and make it happen. When we align for success, it's from within. And that's why it's inspired action. So the inspired action that I recommend that everyone takes is really take some time in reflection, right? Walk on the beach, meditate, whatever you do to clear your mind so you can get your divine download of what is the problem you solve. You know, I always say clarity is what?
Cash.
See? She knows. Clarity is cash. So when you are clear on the problem you solve, then you could focus your social media. You could focus your pro bono speaking engagements so that you can get paid speaking engagements on that problem. So number 1, decide what problem that you solve. Number 2 is get practicing. Join a Toastmasters club, or if you don't have time for that, then just speak at your local chambers. Get out there and practice your craft. And number 3, which Anna does so well, learn from her, is ask for the business. Don't be shy.
No.
The shy speaker is broke, okay? The shy speaker is broke. Underline, highlight that.
Yes.
The people that I know that are out there speaking, even it doesn't matter how much experience, how much education is because they have the courage to ask, and not even the courage about being bold. It's that you have a solution for people's problem, and it's your duty to be able to go out there and solve that. So that's what I would recommend, those 3 steps, and then you will see yourself moving along the path. And being a paid speaker, it's not an overnight thing. I never said, it's going to happen. You just do these steps and overnight you're a millionaire. No, it does take time. But if you're focused, you're consistent, you will see results. I promise you.
I don't think I ever got anything I didn't ask for.
Amen, sister.
Right? So we have one more question.
Okay.
Because the audience is dying to know.
Okay.
How do you incorporate your life passions? You love to dance. How do you incorporate that just to marry the 2 together, your passion for speaking and your passion for dance?
It's so funny. When I first started speaking, I did this gig in 1999, and this guy said he never forgot because I ended it with the salsa.
Yeah.
So what I do is I do a metaphor, right? Because anything I talk about, people don't remember what you say. They remember how you make them feel, right? I think it was Les Brown that said that, or Zig Ziglar. So I do like a salsa metaphor, but it gives the content of my speech, right? So I talk about, we take a step back and we let go of the woulda, coulda, shoulda, right? We take a step forward. We have the vision for our life. And then we take a step into the center. It's in the what? And everyone says now, because I talked about the power of now. And that's the power to transform. So in every speech, I'll transform what I say based on what it is. But now I've evolved from salsa to samba. You know that. So depending on the room. So I recently did a workshop to reduce burnout. And everybody looked so tired in the room. I'm like, why is everybody so tired? And I knew it wasn't me. Never take it personally. It was they had just came off a plane and they rolled right into my workshop. So I could see them. And we were doing some breathing exercises that were putting them into a coma. So I said, okay, everyone, get up. And we got up and I got on my phone, put some merengue music. We had a merengue moment. Everyone was like, ooh la la. It totally shook up the energy in the room. Yeah. They were so much more engaged after that. Nice. So I believe that, and this isn't just what I believe, scientific evidence shows the more fun you have, the more you're able to retain information. So I love passionate dancing. I love salsa, samba, merengue. And when I incorporate into that, they love it and they remember the concepts. So, and it's fun.
I think that's why I remember every word to a song, but I can't remember what I ate yesterday.
Right, exactly.
Well, this has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, thank you so much. I really appreciate you, and I love having you in our group and the Be a Paid Speaker Now program and all that you do and just seeing you shine. You're just amazing. And all of you are amazing. So I invite you to practice these principles. You can download my free webinar at deborahderas.com/speak-now. If you're interested in getting a clarity session, you can go to my website at deborahderas.com to get a coaching session. You could schedule it right in. And if I can be of any assistance to you to speak at your next conference or event, you can book me to speak. And remember, with the power of synergy, anything is possible. Ciao. Bye. Are you always on the road speaking and your house is all alone collecting dust? Wouldn't it be nice to make some passive income while you're out speaking on the road? Well, I do. Want to know my secret? Air BnB. I use Air BnB to make some extra cash to reinvest in marketing for my speaking business. It's so simple. You just set up a listing and voila, you come home to money in your bank account on top of what you already made speaking. If you want to know more, go to the Be a Paid Speaker Now podcast.com to get all the information. Thank you for tuning into the Be a Paid Speaker Now podcast. If you want to be a paid speaker right now, you can download the 5 steps to get started as a paid speaker right on my website. Just go to deborahderas.com/speak-now. And remember, with the power of synergy, anything is possible.